Hello, we are back for our second session with World's Personal Finance. Again, this is inspired by our little dog, Walt, and he really needs to give some advice probably to all of us, and we will go from there. So, today, actually, our basic agenda is going to be some basic stuff with the bank accounts. Particularly, it is targeted for those people who are trying to get some bank account open. What is needed? Particularly, I will share the basic knowledge about. But if you are coming, let's say, from a different country, like I came from India one time, so basically I know about India. It could be very well be any other country, but mostly I will discuss on US versus Indian bank account. So let's just say this is US and this is in the India. And I am going to talk about the people who are probably coming from here to here, or very rarely it happens from here to here, but that's also possible. What are the different types of bank accounts you have, which kind of bank account you should open, why you should open, those type of basic deal. Or let's say you have some money, you want to send some money back home, you have some extra money to invest, how will you invest, whether you should invest here in US, whether you should invest over there in India, those kind of things, correct? It's hopefully will be very helpful. If you want to know anything in particular, or you just let me know in comments. We basically, and of course, subscribe to us. That will eventually pay our bills, and we will basically definitely bother discuss that thing. So let's just first start with that. What are the different type of bank account you can have even in US? So of course, you can have a checking account. You can have savings account, and you can also have a business account. Now, of course, this is only possible if you basically have a business. Now, what's the difference between, say, this one versus this one? Business account probably need what is called a FIN, or Federal Employer Identification Number. Whereas here, you should have what is called a SSN, or Social Security Number. So effectively, this is more of a personal account. This is probably a business account. So let's say I'm just giving an example. You come over here, you got an SSN, and then you want to open an account because you want to deposit your money from your salary, let's say from your company or something. What you really need to have, you have to go to the bank and they will ask for the social security number and maybe another form of driver license or some kind of an ID, which will basically they will give you a checking and savings account right away. And I will get into later, probably more into, they will also give you something like a debit card. Maybe sometimes you can apply for a credit card, but definitely they will get a debit card, which basically draws the money out of your checking account. Now in today's world, in here we have something called Venmo, we have PayPal, lot of different ways you can send give money to other people. We will discuss all those things in later details, but as of now, if you really think about it, what is necessary in terms of like starting a bank account here, this is checking, savings, business. Now, in terms of putting the money over here, I will come back to that thing later. But let's say same thing in India, what you can do. Now, there are two, if you are coming from India, there are two type of account you can have. One is resident account, another one is NRI account, so non-resident Indian. So resident account, of course, you probably know the same way. They basically call it savings account over there. You can also have like a CD, or other a fixed deposit or something. You also can have a current account. Again, current account is similar to the business account over here. So you can effectively, if you only have a business, but I, they just need to see like your company title or registration type of thing, and based on that you can open a current account. Current account, most of the reason you will open probably for transaction purpose, so connecting to a payment gateway or making any kind of expenses or invoice payment, those type of thing. And you typically have anybody who opens a bank account nowadays needs, similar to SSN, India has a what is called Aadhaar card now, I think. So you have to provide the Aadhaar card to basically start an account. We will not stress much on this part. This is probably known to most of the people, or we can talk about it later if we need more. However, NRI, which probably a lot of people want to know, who, let's say for a contract purpose or whatever purpose, you come over here, you save some money, you want to send the money back home to your parents or to your near and dear one or something, what type of account you should open. Here also there are two types of account, what is called FCNR, and so and another one is NRO. So in other words, they call it NRE account and NRO account. What's the difference? It is critical to understand the difference. So even if you are going to open an NRI account with anybody, you really need to be clear whether you want an NRE account or NRO account. The difference is this is maintained in dollar, American dollar. This is maintained in rupee. So what's the difference? So let's say I put $100 over here, it will be repatriable, meaning I put the money in $100, I probably spent $50, there are $50 still out there, I can actually take the money back in $50. When I put this money over here, let's say today, I don't know, like rate is like 85 or something, so this $100 would be 85 times 100, so 85,000 rupees. This cannot be transferred. So let's say you took away 3,500, you have 5,000 rupees, you cannot put it back in a dollar. That's the biggest difference. So effectively, if you are sending money to say your parents and they are going to do the expenses in rupee, you might very well use the NRO account. Again, this is NRO account. If you really want to do the same thing, but you really want after that the money left over should be taken by you yourself, then you should consider the NRE account. So this is a very critical difference. You need to understand very clearly and put the money accordingly. Now, one of the things you really need to know quickly is, let's say you have some money, what should you do? Where should you put the money, correct? In today's market, the whole objective of this thing is saving some tips or saving some money so that it can basically do that thing. Let me give you some basic thing. In checking account here, you will get probably just simply 1%, literally 1%, almost nothing. In savings account, based on that, it could be depending on the thing. Some places you might get online account 3 to 4%. Okay, if you go to this FCNR or this NRO account, this probably 1 year maybe I have seen 6.6%, 6.7%. Again, these are all time driven kind of thing. Here on the other hand, in the NRE one, you might get better than this thing probably, sometimes 4% or something I have seen. So it's 4%, 6%, something like that. So let's say you have $100 extra and you want to basically save that thing to make something. Remember, every little thing eventually pays off. Your strategy, the whole thing in a long term, which matters. So should you leave that $100 over here? Should you leave $100 over here? Should you leave here or here? What matters? That's what your decision is. Again, I'm giving you a suggestion. You basically can take a look at it. $100, if you just leave it over here, it's basically going to earn nothing practically, just $1 in a whole period of 1 year. So effectively, why will you keep it here? If you really need the money, it's emergency fund kind of thing. If you are sure that this money is not going to be used or something, you can put the money in the keep it in the savings account, and savings account will probably get a little bit more money. However, you can also, there is a FD, you can do it, but be very careful over there. If you put the money in 100, typically the rule is like you may do it like 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, it may be instead of 3.4%, 3.8% or 4%, something like that. But they will try to do auto renew, and if you break the CD or FD, they will basically deduct the whole interest, plus there would be a penalty. So be careful. Unless you know that you don't need the money, you should not put it on the FD. And at the same point of time, be very careful when it basically matures or something. Now let's say you put the money in FD NRE account. Good idea probably. Maybe you will get 1% extra compared to probably some US account, but should you do that? It all depends on which bank you are doing, how customer service they have, whether you are basically apt in terms of like repatriating, whether you need that money, all those kind of stuff. And you will put that money over here. This is basically particularly for your parents or something, and from there basically you can go by, correct? But you will also put that money in FD or something if you have a lot of other way. Basically you want to, like, let's say you need to go back in 1 year future and you basically want to invest and get it from there. That's basically what you can do. These are the different type of banking options you have. It's simple in a very nutshell up from there. Let me know if you really want to know, or you want to get me in details of it. We can use some use case scenario downstream, considering some amount. Let's say you have $10,000 extra, you basically somehow got a bonus, you want to use that money, or you want to buy something, or you want to deposit something in such a way so that it basically earns something for you in future. We can basically do that thing in the subsequent video. Please give a like or subscribe to us. As I said, that will keep us going. You can share this thing with your friends and give us some feedback too, because again, the whole objective of this thing is that what I have learned, you basically learn the same, and with the long-term solutions basically comes, you basically strategize today so that you yield the result in future. Thank you and have a good one. Bye.